You ratted on some of the biggest heads in the game. Arms dealers, cartel bosses, freedom fighters. What can I say? You're like the GOAT of global snitching. Hey, what's up? What's going on, everybody? I hope all is well on your side. Definitely make sure, if you're not yet part of the family, that you go ahead and you subscribe, and also make sure you comment down below. So we're gonna go ahead and just dive right in. This episode was crazy, yeah. So let's go ahead and start from where it all started. So all the ghosts from Tyriqs' past was like popping up. You know, it was like everybody except his father wasn't there. But the crazy thing about it, even though they didn't show physically his father, Carrie, when she was talking to him as a ghost, she's like, your dad's calling. And it literally said dad. So, but luckily it was all a dream. It was all a dream. So yeah, that was kind of crazy for him. Like, you know, he's starting to have all these nightmares of things that he's doing or people that he's causing to die, you know, all because of him. At the end of the day, it's like all tied together. So Zeke, he's not answering Monet's phone calls. He ain't really with it. But the crazy thing about it was that he actually hit up Dante, because of course now he's really trying to find out who this guy is. You know, this guy that's his father that he never knew, that he thought was like dead, or then he thought was in jail. Like, he was getting all these different stories. So, you know, that's the one person that he felt like he wanted to reach out to from his parents. So Tate ends up saying that the trial wasn't looking too good. That's what he was telling Tyriq. And he said that he's about to be on the stand, but the thing is that he don't know what he's going to say because he hasn't received the proof that he needs in order to keep his mouth shut. He's like, hearing it and knowing about it is one thing, but to have the physical proof to move forward is a completely different story, and that's what he needs. So, you know, Tyriq had to make it happen, because at the end of the day, this is life or prison, you know what I'm saying? So he's like, you know what, I gotta do what I gotta do. So luckily Tyriq was able to get it, and crazy enough, Tate had a little conversation with his brother earlier in the day. So he ended up kind of throwing his brother under the bus, saying that his brother, who's the lead investigator, has more information about this woman who he has not brought to the trial or has not told them about, but she actually saw two men at the scene of the crime, not one, you know? And the crazy thing about it was that when his brother had told him about it, he told him, nah, don't worry about it, don't even talk about it, you know, like, use your discretion right now. But he knew that that could help, because that would kind of either delay or dismiss the trial, because they're holding out on evidence that could show that, obviously, how could it be Tyriq, and why is Tyriq the only one on the stand if there was somebody else that was also a part of this crime? So now Kane, he tried to leave Mecca's house, because, you know, he's been there, and Mecca was like, nah, you're not out. He was like, you seem like you forgot how this works. He told Kane that he actually is going to be living there, and he's number 2 in command now. And he said he's going to always be able to know where he is and be able to find him at the end of the day. And he also let him know that he had to tell his dad that he didn't have the product anymore because he was robbed. So yeah, he ended up calling his father and let him know, like, yo, we got robbed or whatever, so there's not gonna be any more product. And his father's like, yo, you need to come home. He's like, yeah, I can't do that. Because he could tell, like, the way that Dante was sunning him, like, it looked like Dante was about to chop off his hand. Like, dad was like, yo, put your hand there, put your finger on the phone so that he could put the code in there. So it's like, me and you is the only ones with this code now, so you gotta stay here, you gotta man the fort, you gotta watch my house, because my other dude that was used to being here watching the fort, holding things down, is now dead because he was a snitch. So now you're the person that got to take care of this. Bam. So Drew goes ahead and Drew snitches to his father and tells his father that the reason why the Connect cut everything is because he cut off Monet, and Monet ends up robbing him, so that's why things are the way they are. So his father was like, you know what, go and get my product. So now they had to come up with a plan in order to get the product that Monet had stole from Dante. Yo, crazy. It's just craziness, y'all. Just a whole bunch of robbing and stealing and just doing a little bit of everything. Like, you can't trust nobody in this type of situation. So now, Dante and Zeke end up meeting up at the bar. And the funny thing that I said, as soon as I saw this part, I was like, you know what's the crazy thing about this? Like, he could actually be in the bar because he's actually 23. Because before we thought that he was only 19, so you couldn't be in a bar, you know what I'm saying? Because you got to be 21 and older. But now he's good. He can do that now. Like, see how things change? He there drinking and everything. Well, did he drink? I don't think he drank. But he was there with his father, you know, just kind of talking about everything. And his father actually offered him to get him like a private coach so he could just focus on his career and be so good that these people still want you regardless of your age, because that's the main thing he's worried about. He's like, and that's what I was pissed, like, last week. Didn't we talk about this? Like, I was just like, yo, out of everything that's happening right now, this dude is focused on the fact that he's not 19, he's 23, and he can't be in the league. Like, homie, you just got a whole bombshell. You just found out that your aunt is your mom. Like, you just found out that your dad is alive. Like, there's so many things that just happened, and it's like he couldn't get anything. Yo, we're not even gonna talk about that because that was hilarious to me. Like, it was just so funny. So when they get back to so the only stipulation that he had was that he had to talk to Monet. So he spoke to Monet, you know, and she told him the reason why she did it is because, you know, with everything, she was just 16 years old and her sister always wanted a kid or whatever, a boy. So it just kind of it worked out well, you know, and just being his auntie was good enough for her because she was able to keep tabs on him and just know like he was good and in good hands and stuff like that. But she said, you know, she tried to make sure she protected her, and, you know, she was like, your auntie treated you like her own at the end of the day. So that's why, you know, it kind of worked out the way it did. So Zeke did ask her, like, point blank period, like, did you have anything to do with Carrie's death? And she was just like, no, like, I wouldn't do that to you, you know? Knowing goddamn well that she was the one who set things up. And then she's like, as soon as your dad kicked me out, I came right over here with Dante. And Dante, you could tell by the way that he looked at her that he's like, yo, this bitch is lying right now. But you know what? I'm going to go ahead along with it so that this dude could trust us and understand. So he was just like, yeah, like, she came straight here. And it worked. But I'm just like, yeah, he's definitely lying. So now he knows that she most likely did do it as well. So, but at the end of the day, Zeke is just like, you know what? He just want to get his stuff together so he could be out and get away from everybody. He's done with all the lies and all of that stuff. He just wants to get in the league and be out. That's his goal at this specific time. So Braden, he ends up talking to the defense attorney. Is she the defense attorney, or is that what you would call it? The defense? Like, she's not defending them. The public, no, not a public defender. Y'all know what I'm talking about. She's like the DA or whatever. He ends up talking to her. The person is trying to go ahead and take Tyriq down. So he's talking to her because she comes to his house, and he was actually being pretty good. Like, he wasn't saying nothing. But his brother Trace, I mean, I don't know if he was just under the influence of something, his coke that he loves to be under. But this man was talking He was chatting like a freaking chatterbox. Like, this man was just going off at the tongue, like just saying everything that was happening. Like, he's like, oh yeah, I know Cane's the guy that robbed us and kidnapped me. And I'm like, and he's like the leader of the drug gang. And I'm just like, yo, Trace, what are you doing? Like, you don't not even, like, that's how you know that he ain't down. Like, he don't know about the whole game. Like, Brayden is not fully, he don't really too much know, but he's learning. He's learned a lot over the course of the time that he's known Tyriq. This kid, like, dude, like, you right now, you running on a death wish. Like, you're just like, please come and get me right now. That's like exactly what he's saying, you know? So they was asking Brayden to testify in court, but you know, he ain't trying to do that. But because Trace is so willing, you know, he was like, he'll do it. He was like, he ain't got no problem. And his lawyer was like, yeah, they just need full immunity if he does go ahead and corroborate. So boom, boom, boom. That's perfect. The defense attorney, I know that's probably not what it's called, but the lady, the DA, she wasn't really fully convinced, because she preferred for Brayden to do it, because obviously she got embarrassed in court. She got shaken up. She doesn't like to lose. So now she's trying to find any way that she can to win. But Brayden, at the end of the day, he's still not trying to be a part of everything. Like, he's still not trying to be that person, which, you know, I could definitely commend him for. The only problem that I seen was that Brayden, he was in the room with Tyriq, like, later on. And when Tyriq came home, he asked him about the case and stuff like that. He wasn't really telling him that he met up with, like, the DA lady came to his house. He didn't say none of that. He was keeping that on the hush-hush. The thing that was messed up was that, or that I feel like could kind of switch him, is that he feels like Tyriq betrayed him, because he asked Tyriq not to get the photo of the blackface situation, because he's like, yo, that's going to mess up my family. He's like, nah, like, at the end of the day, like, he had to do what he had to do for Tate to get on the stand and say the right things. Because he told him that Tate, you know, said things that could help him. He's like, so what made him switch up, you know? He's like, so you did it. Wow. Like, and he knows, like, that means you got it somehow. Like, you took it out of my room or out of my secret stash or whatever, but he took it. So right there is just like, wow, like, you really betrayed me and my family, even though I told you that this could take us all down. He's like, at the end of the day, you got that white privilege. Like, you good. Like, you're going to always have money. You're going to always be good, you know? So I guess we'll see how that goes, right? So Diana, she went to go ahead and see Tyriq, and she tells him everything that she found out about, you know, Monet being Zeke's mom, about how mom was cheating on the dad. She even shed some tears. You know, it seemed almost genuine, but it actually wasn't. The only reason why she was there was because she needed to get the QR code from Tyriq's phone, and they did it pretty impressively. Like, what they did was take his phone, she took her phone, which had a video of him, so that you can use the face. I was like, yo, can that really work? Use the face ID in order to unlock the phone, the other phone. And then she took a picture of the QR code. And then from there, that's what she used in order to get the stash, because it was hidden in a secret compartment on top of the building. I was just like, well, hot diggity damn. You know, so that's going to definitely be a shitstorm once things unfold. So that's going to be crazy. And like I said, the crazy thing about it is that she was pretending like she really needed his help. Like, girl even shed a tear, honey. Like, she literally was shedding tears. I mean, at the end of the day, it is something that bothered her, so I guess that's why she was able to invoke those emotions. But like, damn, girl, you was lying just so you could get something from him. It's like all these chicks is playing him out at the end of the day. That's the crazy part. Like, he needs to get some real loyal ones, because all of these hoes ain't loyal, right? That's what they say. Now, Zeke, he was at the press conference or whatever, and somehow, some way, while he's at the press conference, it magically gets leaked that he's at his age. So the guy who I guess was his agent or whatever whispers in his ear, like, if this is true, your chances of getting drafted are done, you know? And I'm just like, yo, this is messed up. It could have possibly been Lorenzo who did it, or it could have possibly, well, that's who I'm thinking did it, unless it was somebody at the bar that seen that he's older. I don't know, but it kind of seems like it is, especially because somebody was also trying to get all of them. So I don't know. We're gonna definitely find out. Now, Tyriq tells Effie that Lauren actually was the person who had the information, I mean, who wore the wire or whatever. And after that, like, the crazy thing about it, like, you know, she's not really feeling her, because at the end of the day, she's trying to say things about Lauren to make him not want to be with her, because she sees that, you know, if Lauren was to get right, she would definitely be number one again. You know what I'm saying? But right now, she got his trust, and she got his, you know, she got his time, and she got the goods, you know? I don't know. It must be something good going on down there. So she got all of that right now. So she's the main. She's the one that he's confiding in. She's the one that's everything is happening. So he tells her that she has both Kane and Brayden on you know, the recording that she had. So she needs to get out of here. So she takes this information. She just kind of clicks it in her head, you know, says what she says to him. And then homegirl is meeting up with Kane and tells him everything. And I'm just like, yo, this is why, like, I was talking to somebody and they was like, yo, I don't really trust her. And I'm like, I don't know, like, it's something about her as well. Like, you know, before she had messed him over before. So for him to fully put his trust in her, I think that would be blind to do so. You know, it's more so because she's resourceful, you know, because she's a rider. Like, she's the person you need when stuff needs to get done for the, you know, dirty stuff needs to be done. She's the one for that. But as far as, like, trusting fully, I don't think she's the one for that. And now we see none of these chicks are really, like I said, these hoes ain't loyal. So she meets up with him, tells him everything. So now he knows what he got to do. He goes to talk to Brayden, tells Brayden that he needs to handle it. I'm like, out of all people, why you keep on picking Brayden? It's because Brayden's white, so he feels like Brayden ain't going to get in trouble for anything. So that's why at the end of the day, every time that something needs to get done, he's calling up Brayden like, oh, Brayden, this is what I need you to do. You know what I'm saying? And he's playing with him. So he's like, yo, I need you to do this. And if you don't do it, I'm going to have to, you know, I'm going to have to handle it. He's like, oh, so you're going to take care of it? He's like, nah, I'm going to take care of you. I'm like, here we go. Here we go. So oddly enough, when Brayden was in front of Lauren's house, ready to do what he had to do, here comes Tyriq calling him, telling him that he needs him to do him a favor and pick her up so he could take her out of town, you know, give her some money and make sure she's good. Because he let her know in advance, like, yo, these are some terrible people. Like, you literally got to be out. And I'm like, yo, she did all of this to make sure that her school was secure, that, you know, all that stuff was secure. That's why you quote unquote did this, so you could stay in school. And now you got to get off the grid so you could be safe. Like, what? You know, it's just like, what was it all for at the end of the day? But Carrie played her. And that's just what it is. And Carrie couldn't do anything to really protect her. She just said things that she knew that she would probably want to hear. So Monet feels like I said, like Lorenzo knows everything, because he actually, somebody was shooting at them when it was all in the hoops or whatever. It was her, Dante, and Monet. So she's like, it must have been him that probably also leaked everything to the press. So Mecca, he actually was in the crib or whatever, and what's his name was there? Kane was there, because Kane has to stay there. Kane's like his prisoner at this point. So he noticed that his bag was missing, and this is like a very important bag to him. Like, it got a lot of his information in there. So he's like, yo, like, where's my bag at? He was like, yo, everything else could be gone, but I need that bag. That's it. Like, I need that bag at the end of the day. And he's like, I know that you was the one who stole my product. I know that was you. I'm like, damn. So as soon as he told him that, like a little bit after Dante left, because he said he has a tracking device in the bag, so he's going to activate it. He called up Monet and told her like, yo, this guy, he knows what's up. Like, he knows everything, that I took his product, and he has a tracking device in the bag, and he's going to get it. So she was like, can you send me a picture of him, because that way I could warn Tyriq and let him know, because that's where he's gonna go, because Tyriq was the one who actually had the bag. Now this is the biggest bombshell of all, y'all. This is the one that had me like, I look on this, this shit is crazy. Yo, I was at the edge of my seat. I even had to take my remote and pause the TV for a minute because I wanted to kind of see what it was saying. Like, I had to like pause it again because it was a little blurry at first. Yo, this thing said that Dante Spears versus the United States of America, and something about, you know, how he was pretty much an informant. I mean, I don't know what the word said, but it just said pretty much in layman's terms that he was an informant for the United States of America. Like, what? Are you kidding me? Out of all people, like, I was just blown away when I got that, when I saw that information. I was like, yo, this is the epic plot twist. I never would have thought. And then inside the bag, there was different, I should have checked them. You know what? I'm gonna probably check later. I don't know if they had different names, if they had their names switched up, but there were passports for Monet and all of the kids, I think, as well as him, because his plan is to pretty much move them somewhere so they could be out, because at the end of the day, like, I think he's kind of like on the run from the FBI, as well as like he can't let none of these people know what he did, otherwise he's a dead man walking, you know. So yo, crazy, y'all. That was like the biggest bombshell of all. So Dante actually did show up in his room, but Tyriq was smarter than him, because Tyriq had already made a phone call and found out as much as he could about Dante Spears, you know, based on the information that he saw. I think he was talking to Davis, but I'm not really sure. But found out all the information that he could. He's like, yo, this is a man you don't want to mess with. Like, he's pretty much like a global informant. Like, you know, he took down like Lobos and all these other people. Like, it's crazy how shit all tied together, because at the end of the day, remember, his dad killed Lobos, but Lobos was actually gonna kill him because Lobos found out that he was an informant or whatever, or was coming for him. So, but he was the one who ratted out Lobos in the beginning. So it's just all ties in together. I love how they was able to do that. It was just like an epic plot twist to me. So yeah, but the thing about it is that Tyriq is a lot smarter than him. You know, Tyriq has all his documents, has all his papers. Obviously, it's not in the room, so that means somebody else has access to them as well. So he's like, I'm pretty sure a lot of people would like to know where you are right now. He's like, in order to keep my silence, what you have to do is you're going to have to give me $2 million. And so I'm like, yo, this dude is so freaking smart. But he's still going to have to be smart when he hands him these documents, because what's to say he can't just, you exchange things and he just shoot you down. You know what I'm saying? So he's still going to have to be smart whenever they do this whole exchange or whatever. So Brayden went to go ahead and pick up Lauren to send her off on the bus so that she can get out of town, just kind of get off the grid and no longer be Lauren. She's going to be somebody else. She got a whole bag of money, so she's good, you know. She can't contact her parents or anybody else. She just got to fall off the face of the planet. So he dropped her off, but then he took her to a little section, and I'm like, yo, why is he taking her over here? I really thought he was about to really do the damn thing, but he ends up just like putting the gun to her head, but he gives her the money. So I'm like, okay, all right, I guess he was just trying to scare her. You know, she definitely was shook up, but then all of a sudden you see this car pulling up, boom, it's Effie. So Effie punches her in her face, puts her in a car, takes the bag of money, and is out. So I'm like, yo, how is she gonna kill her? I don't know if she killed her or not. She looked real guilty when she slept in the bed next to Tyriq, But for some reason, I kind of feel like she probably didn't have the guts to do it because she knows like this dude would hate her for life if it gets out. But I don't know. We're gonna have to see how that goes. And finally, when Mecca came back to the apartment after everything with Tyriq to talk to Kane, boom, Monet's there. So now all of this stuff is really getting revealed. It's all getting put out there. So she does tell him that she's willing to move. Kane said he's willing to move as well, you know, be out with him on his jet, like, you know, start a fresh new life. The only thing is that they're going to need to kill Lorenzo because he's the biggest threat and the biggest enemy that they have right now. So, honey child, shit is spicy. All right, let me know what y'all thought about this episode down below. What was the craziest moment? Definitely thank you guys for the likes. It definitely warms my heart. It keeps me motivated. It keeps me coming with the energy, okay? All right, guys. I will see you guys on the next one. Laters.